I was on 8 boards. I chaired 2 of them. 2 of them were not-for-profits. The others were industry associations and commercial businesses. I worked at fairly high levels with chairmen of companies, and we did some really cool business. But something happened. I got, what do they call it, level 4 cancer, lymphoma. I was sick and diagnosed to have food poisoning, and after a number of tests I found myself in intensive care with organ failure, on dialysis machines, trying to clear out all of the poison in my system. So 35 rounds of chemotherapy, and 6 months in the ward later, I'm still here. I had the life-changing experience. I got to Heaven's Gate and they told me it was too early for me, I had to come back. So I wasn't looking very healthy, and as the journey went on, I still wasn't looking any healthy. So there was about, through the journey, about 30 odd blood transfusions to keep me alive. The chemo killed the cancer, but it also killed my body. So all of my organs and all my blood work was awful. And when I came out of the hospital system, I knew that it would take me, and my oncologist told me it would take me 2 to 3 years to rebuild my body. And a friend of mine had been to Thailand and had heard about this so-called Russian knowledge or new knowledge. What had taken place is when the Cold War came down, the Berlin Wall collapsed, Russia had no money. But they, like the Americans, had spent a lot of money on research in their universities and their research institutions into developing the mind to get the ultimate performance out of it. And they started talking something about the heart-brain. And I remember learning a little bit about the heart-brain about 5 years ago from a lieutenant colonel from the Australian SAS. And my question to him was, and this was a leadership type course, you know, how do you pick an SAS trooper over a normal soldier or normal commando? And he says, they think with their hearts. They use their intuition. They use their sensing, their feeling. They know there's an ambush 2 kilometres up the road and they go round it. Or over it or through it. But they use their, what we used to call gut feel. So my journey kept on, and it's this friend of mine, Adele, that had been to Thailand, taught me some of the tools, and I started seeing some remarkable results. So in July there was an English course, and they run these workshops up there in Chiang Mai every month virtually, 30 to 40 participants, but they're all Germanic speaking, they're all Germans. This particular work came out of Russia about 3 or 4 years ago into Austria, Germany and Switzerland, and has been taught on weekend workshops there. And Corolla, who runs the Thailand project, worked out that people weren't getting it because they were very much still stuck in their left brains. Now, we need to understand our logical left brain processes at 24 bits of information a second. Our right brain, our creative brain, is over 3,000 bits a second, but our heart brain is 6,000 bits a second. It's fast. So Corolla had worked out that the best way for human beings to learn something that's really different was to get them into a very relaxed state. So she's got this amazing escape in northern Thailand, where you get massages and great organic food and you learn for 7 days straight. But the Germans have got 3 years in front of us now, and they've booked up the place. They're taking bookings for March next year already. And there's only 1 or 2 times a year that it's available for us in English. So we went originally up there in July, and that's what I looked like by the time I got to August. And by that stage, I came out of the July course, and on my way over, I couldn't feel from my knees down. The chemotherapy had killed all of the cells in my body. The flight over, my legs were aching. I did the workshop in July for 7 days. On the 8th day, I walked up a 500-step mountain to a temple, and I could feel my toes. So the tools work, and they're really fast. But I had to give up. I had to walk into the room and give away all of my logic. And I'd been a very successful businessman, an engineer, a director and executive. So my left brain's really strong. But fortunately, my right brain was not too bad either. And I was smart enough just to give it all up and just listen to my gut and my heart. That's kind of like 6 months after the first experience. Now I'm walking 6Ks a day. I had a CAT scan in June last year, and it showed scar tissue on my lungs, in the base of my stomach, and on my kidneys and my liver. So where the lungs were, where the cancer cells were started to grow within the lungs, the chemo came along and just wiped it out. So there was all these little holes or little pockets in that. So after doing the work in Chiang Mai and going back and doing it again in November, in December I had another CAT scan. It's all gone. It's not there anymore. They're clean. And that little cyst that I had on the bottom of my liver that was 3 centimetres is now 1 centimetre. So my reality is this stuff works. Because my oncologist, Marion was in the room with him, my oncologist looked at the report in December. This is not your report. It should take a couple of years. So for me, I know it works. Now, the other thing that happened last year is I buried 3 close friends from the same thing that I had, cancer. They just didn't make it. And I didn't learn about the information early enough to pass it to them. So I don't want to bury any more friends. So I made a promise that I would share this information with 10,000 people.